How to Read People Like a Book, written and published by Audiobooks. What if you could instantly know what others are thinking and feeling, even when they try to hide it? This book reveals the hidden signals humans constantly transmit that most miss entirely. While the average person takes conversations at face value, struggling to understand others' true intentions, you'll learn to decode the subtle language of body movements, facial expressions, verbal patterns, and unconscious behaviors that tell the real story. By developing this rare skill that less than ones of people possess, you'll gain an almost unfair advantage in business, relationships, and social situations. The most influential people throughout history have understood this secret. Beneath our words lies a constant stream of honest signals that, once you learn to interpret them, will reveal others' authentic thoughts, feelings, and intentions with startling clarity. Lesson 1. Baseline behavior reveals deviations. Every person carries their own behavioral signature, a unique set of gestures, expressions, and mannerisms that represent their natural state. This signature, what we call their baseline behavior, acts as the foundation for understanding when something has shifted beneath the surface. Just as a doctor needs to know your normal temperature to identify a fever, we must first understand someone's typical behavior to recognize meaningful changes. Think of the colleague who normally speaks with animated hand gestures, suddenly sitting still during a meeting, or the usually quiet friend who becomes unusually talkative when discussing certain topics. These deviations from baseline behavior often reveal more than words ever could. Our brains are remarkably attuned to detecting these changes, even when we don't consciously realize it. That gut feeling that something seems off about someone is often our subconscious mind noticing these subtle departures from their baseline. The key to mastering baseline behavior analysis lies in patient observation without judgment. Before drawing any conclusions about someone's truthfulness or emotional state, spend time noticing their typical patterns. How do they sit when relaxed? What's their usual speaking pace? Where do their eyes naturally rest during conversation? These details form the foundation of their behavioral signature. Only by understanding this normal state can you accurately interpret when something shifts. Context plays a crucial role in establishing accurate baselines. Someone's behavior at work likely differs from their behavior at home or with friends. A person might be naturally reserved in professional settings, but animated in social situations. These variations aren't deviations. They're simply different baselines for different contexts. The real insights come from noting changes within each context, not between them. The power of baseline behavior analysis extends beyond detecting deception. It helps us understand when people feel truly comfortable, when they're holding back excitement, or when they're masking concern. Consider how a child's behavior changes when telling a story they've invented versus recalling a real experience. The deviation from their natural storytelling pattern often reveals the truth, even when their words don't. Developing this skill requires active practice in everyday situations. Notice how your family members typically behave during dinner conversations. Observe your coworkers' usual patterns during meetings. Pay attention to your friends' natural communication styles. These observations create a mental library of baselines that becomes invaluable for understanding the people in your life. You might wonder if someone could simply fake their baseline to prevent accurate reading. While possible, maintaining an artificial baseline requires immense mental energy and eventually breaks down, especially under stress. The truth leaks through in subtle ways. A brief facial twitch, a change in breathing pattern, or an unconscious shift in posture. The body speaks its own language, and it's remarkably honest when you know how to listen. The next time you're in a conversation, try this. Instead of focusing on the words being spoken, notice 3 aspects of the person's typical behavior pattern: their stance, their gestures, their tone. This simple practice begins building your baseline awareness, the foundation for reading people like an open book. Lesson 2. Incongruence signals truth. We've all experienced that nagging feeling when something just doesn't add up. A friend enthusiastically agrees to help you move, but their smile seems forced. A coworker says they're fine with your proposal, while their fists clench under the table. These moments of disconnect between what people say and what their body expresses reveal powerful insights into their true thoughts and feelings. Incongruence occurs when verbal and nonverbal signals contradict each other. Our conscious mind carefully controls our words, but our body operates on a deeper, more instinctive level that's harder to fake. This misalignment creates cognitive dissonance not just in the speaker, but also triggers our innate ability to sense when something feels off. Evolution has wired us to notice these disconnects because they often signal potential deception or hidden motives. The key to detecting incongruence lies in simultaneous observation of multiple channels. When someone speaks, watch their facial expressions, body positioning, hand gestures, and tone of voice. Natural, honest communication shows alignment across all these elements. For example, when expressing genuine happiness, a person's words will be positive, their smile will reach their eyes, their body will be open and relaxed, and their voice will carry an upbeat tone. When these elements don't match, pay attention to the nonverbal signals. They're usually more reliable. Cultural differences can affect how incongruence manifests. In some cultures, direct eye contact while speaking to authority figures is considered disrespectful, while in others, it's expected. What might seem like incongruence to an outside observer could simply be cultural norm. This makes it essential to understand the cultural context before interpreting behavioral signals. However, certain fundamental inconsistencies transcend cultural boundaries, like the disconnect between genuine and forced smiles. The hierarchy of believability helps us navigate conflicting signals. Nonverbal cues that are harder to control, like pupil dilation or subtle muscle tension, typically prove more reliable than easily manipulated signals like words or facial expressions. When you notice incongruence, focus on the most instinctive and difficult to control aspects of behavior. Look for tension in the neck, unconscious foot movements, or changes in breathing patterns. These often reveal what words try to hide. The next time you're in a conversation, try this subtle exercise. Deliberately create mild incongruence by saying something positive while thinking negative thoughts. Notice how unnatural it feels and how your body fights to align with your true feelings. This personal experience will heighten your awareness of incongruence in others and demonstrate why authentic alignment feels effortless, while deception requires constant conscious effort. Your ability to detect these subtle disconnects will transform your understanding of human interaction and reveal layers of truth hidden beneath the surface of ordinary conversations. Lesson 3. Micro-expressions never lie. Have you ever noticed a flash of anger cross someone's face, only to disappear so quickly you wondered if you imagined it? That fleeting moment revealed more truth than the polite smile that followed. Micro-expressions are involuntary facial movements that last just a fraction of a second, offering glimpses into a person's genuine emotional state before their conscious mind can mask it. These lightning, fast expressions are universal across cultures and impossible to fake. While someone might learn to control their regular facial expressions, micro-expressions bypass our conscious control, making them one of the most reliable indicators of true emotions. They occur in as little as 1/15th to 1/25th of a second, but with practice, you can learn to spot them. The 7 universal micro-expressions correspond to our core emotions: anger, fear, sadness, disgust, surprise, contempt, and happiness. Each has distinct characteristics. Anger shows briefly furrowed brows and tightened lips. Fear displays widened eyes and raised eyebrows. Sadness appears as drooping upper eyelids and downturned mouth corners. Disgust reveals a wrinkled nose and raised upper lip. Surprise presents raised eyebrows and widened eyes. Contempt uniquely shows as a one-sided mouth raise. True happiness involves not just the mouth, but also the eyes, creating crow's feet wrinkles. Training yourself to recognize these subtle signals requires dedication and practice. Start by studying your own face in the mirror, making each expression and noting the muscle movements involved. Then watch videos of people in emotionally charged situations, preferably in slow motion. News interviews, political debates, and courtroom footage provide excellent practice material because they often capture people trying to control their expressions while experiencing strong emotions. Modern technology has made micro-expression detection more accessible. High-speed cameras can capture these fleeting moments, and software can analyze facial movements frame by frame. However, developing your natural ability to spot these expressions in real time remains invaluable. It's like learning a new language. At first, you must consciously translate each word, but eventually understanding becomes automatic. The most revealing moments occur when someone's micro-expression contradicts their stated emotion or intended message. A quick flash of contempt during a warm greeting, a glimpse of anger while expressing agreement, or a moment of fear while claiming confidence, these contradictions expose the truth beneath the surface. Pay particular attention to these discrepancies during high-stakes situations like negotiations, important discussions, or when someone is sharing significant news. Next time you're watching someone speak about an emotional topic, try this. Focus on their face in the moments immediately after they finish speaking. Often, their conscious control relaxes slightly, allowing genuine micro-expressions to emerge. What emotions do you see flicker across their features? Those brief instants might tell you more than their entire speech. The ability to read micro-expressions transforms your understanding of human interaction. It's like gaining access to a hidden frequency of communication that most people miss entirely. While others hear only the words being spoken, you'll perceive the emotional undertones that color every human interaction with deeper meaning and truth. Lesson 4. Comfort reveals character. When people feel truly comfortable, they show us who they really are. Think of comfort as a window into someone's authentic self. When the guards come down, truth emerges. This fundamental principle of human behavior observation holds tremendous power for those who know how to recognize and interpret it. True comfort manifests in subtle ways that most people overlook. A person who feels genuinely at ease will take up more space, gesture more freely, and speak with natural vocal variation. Their movements become fluid rather than rigid, and their facial expressions shift organically rather than appearing forced or frozen. These signs of comfort serve as valuable baseline indicators against which we can measure changes in someone's emotional state. The opposite of comfort, tension and unease, provides equally valuable insights into character. When someone encounters a topic, person, or situation that makes them uncomfortable, their body immediately begins displaying subtle signs of stress. Their breathing pattern may change. Their posture might become more closed, or they might engage in self-soothing behaviors like touching their neck or face. These stress responses reveal what matters to people and what threatens their sense of security. Creating environments that foster genuine comfort is an art that skilled observers master. Simple adjustments like choosing the right seating arrangement, maintaining appropriate personal space, and matching someone's energy level can help people relax and show their authentic selves. The key is to make these adjustments appear natural rather than manipulative. True character emerges only when people feel genuinely at ease rather than artificially relaxed. What makes this principle particularly powerful is its application across different contexts. Whether in a business negotiation, a first date, or a family gathering, people's comfort levels consistently reveal their true priorities, values, and boundaries. Pay attention to what makes someone visibly relax versus what causes them to tense up. These reactions offer invaluable insights into their character that they may never verbally express. The most revealing moments often come during transitions between comfort and discomfort. Watch closely when a comfortable person suddenly encounters something challenging. Their immediate unconscious reaction before they can put their social mask back on reveals volumes about their true nature. Similarly, observe how people behave once they finally relax after being tense. These transitions expose character traits that might otherwise remain hidden. Next time you're with someone, try this experiment. Create a genuinely comfortable environment and observe how their behavior changes over time. What aspects of their personality emerge only after they've fully relaxed? What topics or situations cause them to shift from comfort back to guardedness? The answers will tell you more about who they really are than hours of direct conversation ever could. Lesson 5. Questions expose more than answers. The most revealing moments often occur not in the answers people give, but in how they react to questions themselves. When you ask someone a question, you create a brief moment of cognitive processing where their guard naturally lowers as they focus on formulating their response. This split-second reaction can tell you more about their true thoughts and feelings than their carefully crafted answer. Consider what happens when you ask someone about their weekend. A person who had a genuinely good time will light up immediately, their face brightening before they even begin to speak. Someone hiding something might pause momentarily, their eyes moving up and to the left as they construct a story rather than recall a real memory. These immediate, unconscious reactions happen before people can control them, offering a window into their authentic experience. The structure of your questions also plays a crucial role in revealing hidden information. Open-ended questions force people to choose which details to share and which to omit, making their priorities clear. When you ask, "How do you feel about your job?" rather than "Do you like your job?" you'll notice telling patterns in what they mention first and what they leave out entirely. People naturally emphasize what matters most to them and minimize or avoid topics that cause discomfort. The power of strategic silence after asking a question cannot be overstated. Most people feel compelled to fill uncomfortable silences, often revealing more than they intended. When you ask a sensitive question and simply wait, maintaining warm eye contact and an interested expression, people frequently continue talking, adding details, and eventually arriving at deeper truths. This technique works because silence creates gentle pressure that many find harder to resist than direct questioning. Question sequences can expose inconsistencies that single questions might miss. Start with broad, non-threatening questions to establish comfort, then gradually move toward more specific inquiries. Pay attention to shifts in behavior as topics change. Does their posture become more rigid? Do their hand movements increase? Does their voice pitch alter? These changes signal you're approaching sensitive areas that warrant further exploration. The ways people deflect or avoid questions reveal volumes about their hidden boundaries and sensitivities. Watch for people who answer questions with questions, change the subject, use humor to deflect, or become suddenly interested in their phone. These evasion tactics often indicate you've touched on something meaningful. Like a sonar ping revealing underwater terrain, the pattern of questions a person dodges creates a map of their concealed emotional landscape. Next time you're in an important conversation, try asking, "What makes you say that?" After someone makes a strong statement, observe not just their words, but the immediate micro-reactions in their face, the rhythm of their response, and the direction their eyes move. In that brief moment between your question and their answer lies a world of unspoken truth waiting to be discovered. Lesson 6. Proxemics betray relationships. The invisible bubbles of space around us speak volumes about our relationships, power dynamics, and emotional connections. When you walk into a room, notice how people unconsciously position themselves relative to others. These spatial arrangements, known as proxemics, reveal the hidden social fabric that binds people together or keeps them apart. Personal space operates like concentric circles radiating outward from our bodies. The innermost circle, extending about 18 inches from our body, is reserved for intimate relationships. Lovers, close family, and our most trusted friends. When someone enters this space uninvited, we instinctively recoil or feel uncomfortable. Watch how people naturally maintain appropriate distances in elevators or waiting rooms, and how they react when these boundaries are breached. Cultural differences add fascinating layers to proxemic behavior. Mediterranean and Latin American cultures generally maintain closer conversational distances than Northern Europeans or North Americans. In Japan, the concept of personal space extends beyond the physical to include careful attention to social harmony and indirect communication. Understanding these cultural nuances prevents misinterpreting distance as coldness or closeness as aggression. Power dynamics become clear through spatial relationships in professional settings. Notice how subordinates typically maintain greater distances from their superiors, while peers interact within similar space bubbles. In meetings, those with higher status often claim more territory, spreading out their materials or sitting at the head of the table. Even in casual settings, people unconsciously defer to others by giving them more space or adjusting their position to accommodate them. The most revealing proxemic insights come from observing changes over time. When two people grow closer emotionally, their physical distances naturally decrease. Watch how friends who haven't seen each other in months gradually move closer as they reconnect, or how people in conflict subtly increase their spacing. These shifts happen without conscious awareness, making them powerful indicators of relationship evolution. Group dynamics create complex proxemic patterns that expose social hierarchies and alliances. In any gathering, people cluster according to their relationships and status. The popular figure at a party becomes the center of a spatial orbit, while those on the social periphery maintain physical distance that mirrors their outsider status. By mapping these spatial relationships, you can quickly understand who holds influence and where social boundaries exist. Next time you're in a social situation, imagine everyone connected by invisible threads, with the distance between them representing the strength of their relationships. Who stands close together? Who maintains distance? Who shifts position when others move? The answers reveal the true nature of relationships that words alone might never express. Lesson 7. Cluster analysis trumps isolated gestures. Have you ever witnessed someone cross their arms and immediately assumed they were being defensive or closed off? This common interpretation represents one of the biggest mistakes in reading people, focusing on isolated gestures rather than clusters of behavior. A single crossed arm might actually mean someone is cold, comfortable, or simply finding a natural resting position. The true power of reading people lies in recognizing and interpreting patterns of gestures that occur together. When multiple behavioral signals align, they form what experts call a cluster. Think of it like a constellation in the night sky. While one star alone tells us little, a pattern of stars reveals a recognizable form. In human behavior, when someone is genuinely defensive, they'll likely display not just crossed arms, but also a turned-away body position, reduced eye contact, tightened jaw muscles, and decreased verbal engagement. This constellation of behaviors tells a much more reliable story than any single gesture. The human brain naturally tries to conserve energy by looking for shortcuts and quick interpretations. This tendency leads us to jump to conclusions based on individual gestures we've been taught to recognize. However, master observers know that genuine emotions and intentions leak out through multiple channels simultaneously. A person experiencing authentic happiness doesn't just smile. Their eyes crinkle, their body becomes more open and expansive, their voice takes on a warmer tone, and their gestures become more animated and flowing. Learning to identify clusters requires patience and practice. Start by expanding your observational field of vision. Rather than zeroing in on one behavior, mentally step back and take in the whole person. Notice their facial expressions, body positioning, hand movements, foot direction, vocal tone, and timing of responses. Look for patterns that either reinforce or contradict each other. A person nodding their head while saying yes, but simultaneously stepping backward creates a cluster suggesting reluctance or disagreement, despite the apparent affirmative response. The most revealing clusters often emerge during emotional moments or when someone is under pressure. During these times, the unconscious mind produces multiple synchronized behaviors that bypass our conscious control. A person trying to deceive might display a cluster including reduced hand gestures, increased swallowing, decreased eye contact, and subtle grooming behaviors like touching their face or neck. None of these behaviors alone prove dishonesty, but together they paint a compelling picture. The next time you find yourself drawing conclusions about someone's behavior, pause and ask yourself, what other gestures or signals am I observing? Are they working together to tell a consistent story, or are they sending mixed messages? By training yourself to recognize behavioral clusters, you'll develop a much deeper and more accurate understanding of the people around you. Your ability to read others will transform from making educated guesses based on individual gestures to understanding the rich tapestry of human communication in all its complexity. Lesson 8. Emotional leakage occurs downward. Have you ever noticed how politicians and trained speakers maintain perfect control of their facial expressions while their feet tap nervously under the podium? This phenomenon isn't coincidental. It's a fundamental principle of human behavior known as emotional leakage, and it follows a distinct downward pattern in the body. Our brains have evolved to dedicate the most control to the parts of our body that humans traditionally focus on during social interaction. We've learned to maintain composed facial expressions and carefully manage our hand gestures because these are the areas others watch most closely. This evolutionary adaptation has created a fascinating hierarchy of emotional control, with our face receiving the most conscious attention and our feet receiving the least. This downward pattern of control creates a golden opportunity for those who know where to look. While someone might maintain a perfect poker face during a negotiation, their legs might be bouncing rapidly under the table, betraying their nervous energy. A person could cross their arms confidently while speaking, but their feet might point toward the exit, revealing their desire to escape the conversation. These lower body movements occur largely outside of conscious awareness, making them far more reliable indicators of true emotional states. The feet and legs are particularly honest indicators because they house some of our most primitive neurological responses. Our lower extremities are wired into our fight or flight response system, preparing us to flee from danger or stand our ground. When someone feels threatened or uncomfortable, their feet often shift toward their preferred escape route, even if they're smiling and nodding. During courtship, people's feet tend to point toward those they're attracted to, even while maintaining casual conversation with others in the group. Understanding this principle transforms how we observe others. Instead of focusing exclusively on facial expressions and hand gestures, skilled observers start their analysis from the ground up. Watch how someone's weight shifts from foot to foot during a conversation. Notice if their legs are crossed toward or away from others, and pay attention to foot movement during emotional moments. These observations often reveal emotional states that contradict what's being displayed above the waist. This knowledge becomes particularly powerful in professional settings. During job interviews, presentations, or negotiations, the ability to read these lower body cues provides insight into others' comfort levels, interest, and genuine reactions to proposals or discussions. A candidate might maintain excellent eye contact and professional demeanor, but their constant foot tapping might reveal underlying anxiety about certain interview topics. The next time you're in an important interaction, try this experiment. Maintain casual eye contact while periodically glancing at the person's lower body language. Compare what you observe below the waist to what's being expressed above. You might be surprised by how often these signals tell different stories, and which one turns out to be more truthful in the end. Our feet and legs betray our real attitudes because we've never learned to lie with them. While we've mastered the art of controlling our upper body to present a desired image, our lower body remains refreshingly honest, offering a clear window into our true emotional state to those who know where to look. Lesson 9. Forced responses reveal hidden attitudes. When people have time to think, they craft responses that align with how they want to be perceived. But when forced to react quickly, their authentic attitudes emerge through involuntary responses. These unplanned moments of truth provide windows into someone's genuine beliefs, biases, and emotional state. Think of forced responses as catching someone off guard, like suddenly tossing a ball to someone. Their instinctive reaction reveals their natural athletic ability far more than if you had given them time to prepare. The same principle applies to emotional and social responses. When someone is surprised by news, confronted with an unexpected situation, or needs to make a split-second decision, their genuine attitudes surface before they can consciously modify their behavior. The key to leveraging forced responses lies in creating or identifying situations that require immediate reactions. This could be sharing surprising information and watching their instantaneous facial expression, asking an unexpected question that demands a quick answer, or introducing an abrupt change that forces them to adapt on the spot. The first fraction of a second, before conscious control kicks in, often reveals more truth than hours of careful conversation. Professional interrogators and skilled negotiators regularly use this technique by suddenly changing topics, introducing new information, or shifting emotional dynamics. They know that these transitions create brief moments where people's guards drop and their authentic reactions emerge. Even in everyday situations, you can observe forced responses when someone receives unexpected news, encounters an unfamiliar situation, or faces a surprise challenge. Pay special attention to the immediate physical reactions during these moments. Pupil dilation, subtle muscle movements, changes in breathing patterns, and instantaneous gestures. These involuntary responses often contradict the composed reaction that follows seconds later. The disagreement between the initial forced response and the subsequent controlled reaction can reveal deception, hidden feelings, or unspoken opinions. Understanding forced responses also helps you recognize when others might be using this technique on you. Being aware of how forced responses work allows you to maintain better emotional control in surprising situations and recognize when someone might be deliberately trying to provoke an unguarded reaction. This knowledge transforms from being merely an observation tool into a powerful method for maintaining your own authenticity while understanding others more deeply. Next time you're in a conversation, try introducing an unexpected element, perhaps a surprising fact or an unusual question. Watch closely for that fraction of a second when genuine reactions emerge. The truth often lives in these unguarded moments, revealing attitudes that carefully crafted words try to conceal. Your ability to create and recognize these moments of authenticity will fundamentally change how you understand the people around you. Lesson 10. Silence extracts truth. Silence is perhaps the most powerful tool in understanding human nature. In our fast-paced world, we've lost touch with the profound impact of carefully placed moments of quiet. When we stop filling the air with words, we create a vacuum that human nature instinctively rushes to fill, often with revelations that would otherwise remain hidden. The discomfort most people feel with silence stems from our deep-seated need for connection and validation. When met with silence, people often feel compelled to speak, to explain themselves further, or to qualify their previous statements. This natural response to silence frequently leads them to share thoughts and feelings they hadn't intended to reveal. It's in these unplanned moments of disclosure that authentic truths emerge. The strategic use of silence requires patience and self-control. Many of us instinctively jump in to fill quiet moments, but mastering the art of comfortable silence allows us to observe crucial behavioral signals. Watch how people handle the tension of silence. Do they fidget, look away, or maintain composure? These responses offer valuable insights into their emotional state and relationship with truth. Consider how silence affects different personality types. Extroverts might rush to fill the void with additional details or stories, while introverts might become more contemplative and measured in their response. Neither reaction is inherently better or worse. Both provide valuable information about the person's authentic nature and current state of mind. The power of silence extends beyond individual interactions to group dynamics. In meetings or social gatherings, Allowing silence after someone speaks can reveal power structures, confidence levels, and unspoken alliances. Watch who breaks the silence first, who looks to others for cues, and who appears comfortable letting the quiet moment linger. Time itself plays a crucial role in silent observation. The first few seconds of silence might prompt superficial reactions, but extended periods often lead to deeper, more meaningful disclosures. As discomfort grows, people may share thoughts they've been holding back or reveal underlying emotions they've been masking. This phenomenon occurs because maintaining a false front becomes increasingly difficult as silence stretches on. The next time you're in a conversation where you sense there's more beneath the surface, try this. After the other person finishes speaking, maintain eye contact and remain silent. Don't nod, don't make encouraging sounds. Simply stay present and quiet. Notice how your silence creates space for deeper truth to emerge, how it invites authenticity into the conversation without demanding it. Mastering silence transforms you from a mere participant in conversations to an observer of human nature. It allows you to step back and witness the intricate dance between what people say and what they truly mean. In a world that increasingly values noise and constant communication, your ability to skillfully use silence will set you apart as someone who truly understands the art of reading people. Final lesson: how to read people like a book. As we conclude our exploration of people, reading, you now possess a rare and powerful ability that sets you apart from the vast majority who move through life missing crucial signals all around them. The skills you've developed aren't just interesting techniques. They're transformative tools that will permanently alter how you experience every human interaction. Remember that truly masterful people. Reading happens beneath conscious awareness. With consistent practice, these observations will become automatic, allowing you to perceive layers of communication that remain invisible to others. What once required deliberate focus will soon operate as an intuitive sixth sense, providing you constant insight into the authentic thoughts, feelings, and intentions beneath the social masks we all wear. Your newfound awareness brings significant responsibility. The ability to perceive what others cannot is a powerful advantage in any interaction, one to be used with integrity and compassion. Rather than exploiting these insights for manipulation, use them to create deeper understanding, resolve conflicts, and build authentic connections. The most valuable application of people reading isn't gaining power over others, but creating environments where genuine communication can flourish. As you apply these skills in daily life, you'll notice the world becoming increasingly rich with meaning. Business meetings transform into fascinating studies of group dynamics. Casual conversations reveal deeper currents of emotion and motivation. Even brief encounters with strangers contain volumes of information that enrich your understanding of human nature. This heightened perception makes life itself more vivid and engaging. The journey you've begun continues with each human interaction. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to refine your skills, every relationship a chance to deepen your understanding. The most accomplished people. Readers maintain perpetual curiosity, recognizing that human behavior contains infinite nuance and complexity. Your education in this art continues for a lifetime, growing more sophisticated with each observation. Trust what you perceive. Your instinctive readings of others are often more accurate than your conscious mind allows you to believe. As you gain confidence in these abilities, you'll find yourself making decisions with greater certainty, navigating complex situations with remarkable clarity, and connecting with others on levels previously unimaginable. The book of human nature now lies open before you. Read it well.